In place of this morning's bell chant, I will be reading from the record of transmitting the light, the first chapter on the enlightenment of Shakyamuni Buddha. You do not have a copy of this in your book, so feel free just to sit and listen. Shakyamuni Buddha saw the morning star and was enlightened, and he said, "I and the great earth and all beings simultaneously achieve the way." Shakyamuni Buddha was of the sun race in India, and at the age of 19, he leapt over the palace walls in the dead of night, and at Mount Dantaloka, he cut off his hair. Subsequently, he practiced austerities for 6 years. Later, he sat on the adamantine seat, where spiders spun webs in his eyebrows and magpies built a nest on top of his head. Reeds grew up between his legs as he sat in tranquility and erect without movement for 6 years. At the age of 30, on the 8th day of the 12th month, as the morning star appeared, he was suddenly enlightened. These words, "I and the great earth and all beings simultaneously achieve the way," are his very first lion's roar. From that time on, for 49 years, he did not spend a day alone, but preached the Dharma for the assembly constantly. He was never without a robe and a begging bowl. During that time, he preached to the assembly more than 360 times. Later, he transmitted the treasury of the eye of the true Dharma to Mahakashapya, and it had been passed down from Mahakashapya through generation after generation to the present. Truly, it has been transmitted through India, China, and Japan, where the practice of the true Dharma is based on it. The practices of his lifetime are the standard for his descendants. Even though he possessed the 32 marks and 80 mirror marks, he certainly looked like an ordinary old monk and was no different from the other people. Therefore, after his appearance in the world throughout the 3 times of the true Dharma, counterfeit Dharma, and the present collapsed Dharma, those who emulated the teachings and conducted modeled themselves on his deportment. Use what he used in each moment. While walking about, standing in place, sitting or lying down, do as the Buddha did. Buddha after Buddha and patriarch after patriarch, he simply transmitted this so that the true Dharma is not extinguished. And this event clearly indicates this. Even though the method of expression, various stories, figures of speech, and words was different on more than 360 occasions during the 49 years, they are nothing more than expression of this principle. This mountain monk would like to say a few humble words about this case. Would you like to listen? A splendid branch issues from the old plum tree. At the same time, obstructing thorns flourish everywhere. I now ask that we sit in quiet meditation until the beginning of the service. I'd like to invite our incense lighters. And if the rest of us could turn to page 2. We'll be saying together the incense lighting gatha. In gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful effort, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. I don't know. Do we do that here? I wasn't sure how many people would be here because I know that we have several Sangha members who are dual faithed. I'll use that term. So I appreciate everybody who's here today. I did want to give a couple quick reminders and announcements before we get started. For anybody who's new here and also uses the restroom, um, right through these curtains here, you'll find a couple. And then also through the curtains down there, we have another restroom downstairs. And also, if you need to step away for any reason, there is a space downstairs, an extra bathroom there, some Legos, a water fountain, and some books. So, also nice dim lighting too. So, if you just need a little vacation from incense and bells. I also ask that during the service that we don't walk in front of the dais, just in honor of the space, and also to try not to block the view of the people watching online. With that, why don't we stand? And I know I said that right as you sat down. I'm so sorry. Why don't we stand and greet each other? And if I could have us turn to page 3, we'll be doing our opening gathas and chants. I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the 3 jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to practice mindful breathing and smiling, looking deeply into things. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to offer joy to one person in the morning and to help relieve the grief of one person in the afternoon. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust and to practice wholeheartedly so that understanding and compassion will flower and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. We turn to the next page, we'll be doing the Heart Sutra. Dhamma Prajna Paramita Pranaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great compassion from the deep practice of prajna, paramita, received the emptiness of all five skandhas, and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty. They are not born nor annihilated. They are not defiled nor immaculate. They do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. No form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind. No realm of sight. No realm of consciousness. No ignorance, nor extinction of ignorance. No old age and death, nor extinction of them. No suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to be out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna, paramita. Therefore, the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance, there is no fear. Away from all delusive views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas, past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna, paramita, is the great Dharani, the radiant peerless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisattva. Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisattva. Dhamma, prajna, paramita, Hridaya Sutra. Thank you. You can be seated. For a little bit of class participation, does anybody know what the first teaching of the Buddha after enlightenment was? Nobody? We failed you. Yeah, go ahead. Any hands? Yeah. And there was a second part to this lesson, which also happens to be the fourth truth. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. And for extra credit, is there anybody that can name all 8 of the Eightfold Path? It's okay if you mess up. No, it's okay. You got some of them. Yeah. We probably got about 8, right? Maybe even a mystery 9th one. I see somebody who's cheating because it's an open book test. Yeah. Like I was saying, it's an open book test. Yeah. So just for anybody who can't see the quilt, we have right view, which in a lot of ways, just as the fourth of the fourth noble truth is the Eightfold Path, right view is the Four Noble Truths. They kind of, like the quilt, kind of interlock and hold each other together. So it's the right view that, our actions have consequences, the nature of suffering itself, that grasping leads to suffering, and, the way out of the suffering. The next one is right resolve. I've also heard this as right thought, or right motivation. I kind of like right motivation for me, just because it's not so much what's going on in your head, but what are the things that sort of drive you or motivate you? Are these things aligned in the right spot? Then there's right speech, right conduct. So sometimes this is doing the right thing. A lot of our precepts kind of go into this. There's sometimes this is also as right kind of livelihood. It's right. It's the 5th one, right livelihood. We saw that one. Right effort, right mindfulness, and then right samadhi, or also meditation, as it's also known as. The Buddha really liked lists. So if we take our lists and we write them down, and we've got a checkbox next to each one, we can just check them off one at a time, and then we're enlightened. So thank you for coming today, everybody. And I think that's the way that a lot of people sort of tackle these at first, because we're given a list. Okay, cool. Let's go down the list, see if we got these, and check them off. And then if we don't have them, well, then we'll do a little bit of work there until we can check them off. But I think there's a couple different ways to look at this list. I would say one of the core teaching of Buddhism is interdependence, probably the core teaching of Buddhism, depending on who you talk to. And just as there's no phenomena that exists on its own, there's no path on the Eightfold Path that exists on its own. It isn't really a list. I like to think of it more as a field. Maybe a literal field, like you have the soil, the roots, the rain, the growth, the earthworms, the bugs, all kind of working together to make a single field. And you can't remove one, because then the entire field will collapse. In the same way, if you were to simply try to act with right speech, but you didn't have the right motivation, the right view, the right conduct, the right livelihood, the right effort, the right mindfulness, the right samadhi, you're going to fail pretty miserably. And with all these, I think that's the case. I think another thing that we can take from this too is that if you're noticing in your life that you are lacking in one of these things, a lot of times the answers are in strengthening the others. So, for instance, you might ask yourself, how do I live with right livelihood? And if we're looking at a list view, it's really easy to say, okay, right livelihood. Well, I just have to have a job that, doesn't kill people and hurt people and make the world worse. But I would challenge you that the way to live with right livelihood is to live your life with the right view and the right motivation, and to speak the right way skillfully, to conduct yourself skillfully, and to give your best effort in that livelihood, and to be very mindful about the livelihood that you're living, and to really practice that introspection and that samadhi, right? Again, it's a field. The field suffers when it's lacking something. Is it lacking rain? Is it lacking the soil that it needs, the cultivation? It all sort of feeds against itself. I don't know if anybody was here early for the bell chant. I read from the Transmission of the Light, which is a Zen, I guess you could call it a sutra, but I could be wrong here. Shin Q will definitely correct me if I am, but I believe it was written by Dogen, the founder of Soto Zen, my school's first student. And it starts with Shakyamuni Buddha, so the very first enlightenment, which I read. And it says the enlightenment story of every single person in my lineage, all the way down to, I believe it ends at Dogen. Maybe it goes a little bit further. But I really love the very first word, the very first part with Shakyamuni Buddha. And if anybody was here earlier, do you remember the very first words of the Buddha after he achieved enlightenment? Wow, nobody was listening to me. I even rang the bell, so everybody pay attention. At the time of Buddha's enlightenment, he said, I, with the entire earth, along with all beings, simultaneously achieve enlightenment. The Buddha wasn't just thinking lists. And the Buddha wasn't just thinking, I have to tend to my own field here, my field of the Eightfold Path. When the Buddha became enlightened, he simultaneously became enlightened with the entire world. I'm going to give you all a challenge, another challenge. If anybody in this room can show me anything, any thought, any action, any phenomena that arises and falls away completely independently, I will burn my robes right now, and I will let my hair grow. Ironically, in doing so, I would have done it because of that arising. And so it would no longer be completely a free action. There's nothing that arises independently. Everything is intimately connected. Even a mote of dust floating around is doing so because of the currents of the air. Maybe that mote of dust, and this is kind of gross, or maybe it was, a flake of dandruff from somebody who had an entire life. And it will land and it'll become part of the soil and back again. The Eightfold Path can't just be a field. It can't just be your field. The Buddha didn't just say, I became enlightened. Also, if you paid attention, which apparently nobody did, but if you did pay attention, the enlightenment of the Buddha was only the beginning of the story, because for 40 years after that, it says that he never spent a day alone, and he spent the rest of his years teaching and building a sangha. It was simultaneously with the world that he became enlightened. I'm going to make the Eightfold Path a whole lot harder, and if you're struggling with it, I'm so sorry. What if we changed right view to the right to view? Right as in the Bill of Rights. Right as in we as people have a right to this. No longer is it, we have to have the right view, but Our community has the right to see the world how it is. Our community has the right to move with the correct motivation. We have the right to speech. We have the right to conduct ourselves appropriately. We have the right to live with livelihood that improves our world and doesn't destroy it. And we have the right to do things with all the effort that we can. We have the right to mindfulness. We deserve to see the world and every little part in it. And we have the right to practice with samadhi, to find peace. No longer is this just a list or our own sort of enlightenment, but until the entire world is enlightened, we are not enlightened. I don't think it's necessarily that the Buddha became enlightened and then we all magically tagged along, but he was speaking about the nature of enlightenment itself. Until everybody in the room has found peace, none of us have found peace, because your peace is my peace. Everything is so connected. I'm speaking on this because after service today, we are having our first mutual aid meeting. We are starting a mutual aid group here at the temple. And it's something that I want to be driven by this idea of the Eightfold Path as a collective right. What can we do as a Sangha to make sure that everybody around us also is able to achieve a well-cultivated field? There's a very big difference between charity and mutual aid. Unfortunately, most of the time, charity is done to sort of resolve the sins of the giver, as they, say, well, this person doesn't have money and I do, so if I give them $5, then I don't have to think about it for today. There's a very big difference between using your speech to try to lift somebody up and making sure that the people around you have their own voice to speak for themselves. And I believe that that's the difference between charity and mutual aid. I've heard a question many, many times since probably November. I don't know what the correlation is. I don't know what happened in November. But it's, what can I do? What am I supposed to do now? And I don't think the answer has really changed. I think it's been the same since, 25 or 500 BC, 2,500 years ago. The Buddha's work didn't stop when he got the spark. It began. I love the Noble Eightfold Path because it gives us a really clear roadmap. And it's also a really clear roadmap, which I think is really great because it forces us to wrestle with it. It forces us to not just follow blindlessly, but to really think about how we need to realize this in ourselves and the people around us. So if you're ever asking yourself, what do I do now? Look at the Eightfold Path. Replace that right view with the right to view. And ask yourself, what can I do to ensure that everybody around me has that right to the Eightfold Path? What needs to change? What do I need to do? What do I need to allow to happen? And when you reach out your hands and your eyes and your ears to help the people around you, don't just give them the right thing. Don't just give them your mindfulness and your conduct and your speech, but make sure that they have the right to the right conduct and speech. What can we do so that they too can have their field cultivated? And remember the words of the Buddha.
I, along with all beings, the entire earth, simultaneously become enlightened. I don't know if that happened 2,500 years ago or if it was another instruction of this is what enlightenment is. But if you're ever feeling on your high horse, like, I think I finally got it. My life is finally okay. Like, I think I've got this figured out. Well, great. Look out your window. Because until we are all free, nobody is free. With that, why don't we spend a little bit of time in meditation? Before we leave our meditation, I want to give you all a little bit of a coda to this talk. On my altar at my home, my form of the Buddha is in the ground touching mudra. If you're not familiar, this is the Buddha right before they achieve enlightenment. They have two of their fingers pointed, touching the ground, as if to demand to the earth herself. And the words spoken right before enlightenment are, I deserve to relieve my suffering. And as the Buddha said, I simultaneously with all beings achieve enlightenment. You can also replace the right in the Eightfold Path with deserve. So with that, I'm going to again chant the Eightfold Path. This is head canon, but this is how I believe that the Buddha would have said them. I, along with all beings, deserve right view to see the world as it is. I, along with all beings, deserve the right to be motivated and to move with right motivation. Motivated towards nonviolence, compassion, and love. I, along with all beings, deserve the right to speech, to use my speech and my words in a way that uplifts my community and speaks to the suffering of the world. I, along with all beings, deserve to live with right conduct. With my actions, I will reduce the suffering of the world. I, along with all beings, deserve the right for a right livelihood. I deserve to live in a house, to eat, to drink water, to be safe. I, along with all beings, deserve the right to right effort. I, along with all beings, deserve the right to right mindfulness, to be able to see the beauty in the world around me, to be able to see the beauty in the world and to see where the world still needs help. I, along with all beings, deserve the right to right samadhi, to practice meditation daily, to find peace within my mind and within the world itself. I deserve, along with all beings, to simultaneously achieve enlightenment. Thank you. At this time, I would like to do our joys and concerns. We will have a microphone going around, and if anybody has anything they'd like to share, any questions that you have, any joys, celebrations, or any concerns that you'd like us to be aware of, just raise your hand. Everybody had a boring week, and there's no suffering.
Hello, everyone. Shanta Dirty Bava or Nikki. I'm very grateful for this Sangha. Just grateful to be here. And also, another joy. I know I've mentioned in the past that my partner and I have struggled a lot just financially and sometimes had to get food donations and stuff like that. And the organization that he just got a job with has also helped us figure things out a lot. And I'm very happy to say that while this wasn't my first choice, I went through all the options with this lady and took out a home equity loan that I was just approved for. And I'm actually going to be able to afford food on a regular basis again and groceries, and just things are going to be easier. And, I realize the impermanence of everything, so I can't say things will stay that way forever, but, recognizing that I think the hard times might finally be behind us, at least for now, and I'm very grateful for that.
Morning, Sangha. My name's B. First off, I wanted to share joy that my partner and I haven't been here in a little over a month, so it's really nice just to share space with everybody. Lots of concerns in the world right now, kind of a minor personal one. I've been without a car in our very car-centric city for a couple weeks. So if anybody happens to know of a cheap, semi-reliable car, if that exists, let us know. But also I wanted to share another joy in that while it's not great not having a car, it has been nice spending a little extra time with my friends, getting rides around town and stuff. So yeah.
Good morning, Sangha. I have some concerns. When I got onto the bus this morning, there was a man sitting near the middle of the bus who very loudly started exclaiming that everybody in America has the right to be who they want to be. And then he directed at me personally, just be yourself, man. And then he corrected himself to be yourself, girl, which was fine. But then after that, he started raising his voice and yelling belligerently at everybody on the bus, actually got out of his seat and got into the face of another guy, and saying he was going to beat him up. And he was also acting very viciously towards the woman he was with. I am concerned that all of the struggles that we're going through now as our nation are driving many of us to lose our sense of equanimity. I am concerned that he will find himself hurt, maybe even killed. And even more than that, I'm concerned for the woman he was with, because I'm sure that for her, running is not an option. And I would like to hold those concerns. And as a joy, once I did make it here to the temple this morning and I sat down, I felt true peace and true happiness. And I saw everybody coming in and I felt love. So thank you.
I've been recently doing some mental work of disentangling my, I don't know, my worth as a person from the privileges that I've enjoyed in the course of my life. And as part of that project, I've been experimenting with the premise that maybe I'm not the smartest person in the room all the time, and I think I might be onto something.
It's pretty smart of you.
Yeah, it's something. Over the last 2 years in particular, I've had a lot of good influences come into my life, and I feel very proud of myself for cultivating those friendships and allowing them to cultivate me in kind. And as a more immediate, less abstract joy, I got together with some friends yesterday in the woods, and we pepper sprayed each other, and it was really fun. And I think the problem with getting pepper sprayed is that, like, maybe your friends aren't doing it, because when your friends do it, it's actually kind of invigorating. So that's my joy this weekend.
You did it intentionally?
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't pepper spray anyone,
Okay.
but I did have my friends pepper spray me.
Why?
I was curious.
Oh,
I wasn't the only one, though. There was 4 of us.
I see. Oh my goodness.
Hi, I'm Alex or Dive Satya. I have a joy to share. My wife and I had, for the better part of last week, some of our dearest friends visiting us. They live in Philadelphia. We don't see them very often. And it was just a marvelous time. Every time we get to, they're like the friends who are family, you know? And yeah, it was just a blast. They're like the, fun uncles, star cats. And we got to go to the butterfly thing at the Meyer Garden. It was marvelous if you haven't gone to that. Got to go hiking and play games and make food. It was just fantastic. So yeah, feel very full from that. That's what I got.
Thank you. Having been pepper sprayed a number of times, I can tell you that it's not that fun. So I'm not sure. I'm not. But I had a joy and a concern I was contemplating as we were passing the mic around, and that was that today being Easter, kind of this week with my coworkers and friends, and probably all of us know a good number of people who are celebrating Easter in a different way than we are. And I had, conversations with my coworkers as we're like, hey, what are you going to do this weekend? And a lot of folks ask me, hey, you have plans for Easter and things like that. And for me, it was a good opportunity to have sympathetic joy for the family, the times that they were going to have. I heard a lot of good stories about the gathering of families and kids and, finding eggs and a lot of food and good times of communion and things like that. So I'm happy for everyone for this day that they have to get together and have those things. And of course, my concern is the opposite of that, in the world still, that there are many of us as we just look outside and see that a lot of folks are without those things. And so remember to hold them in your heart today, please. Thank you.
I know we had somebody online too.
Hello, Sangha. We do have somebody online, but I'm going to give my concern really quickly. I have a friend that I've known for many years. We used to work in the same restaurant in New Jersey back when I lived there. Ever since I've known him, he's always struggled very much, not only with mental illness, but also just having a very hard life. He he grew up in a very difficult household, and now he is the main supporter for that household. And I've seen him in a lot of dark places, and he's always pulled himself out of it. But his main motivation is always, I need to support my family. That's why I'm here, and that's not always very healthy. But for Joy, he did say that he is finally, and he's working a little harder for this, going back to college to get a better paying job, and that way he can support himself and the people he cares about better, and hopefully have a better quality of life. That'll be difficult for him, of course, but he really wants to do it, so I am happy about that. And for the concern online by Jean or Jean, I have a concern. My name is Jean. Pronouns are they, them. My mom and my brother are currently not on speaking terms due to disagreements. I wish to hold space for them to hope they are able to repair their relationship in time.
Do we have anybody else? All right. Why don't we just take a few moments to hold it all in? That bell doesn't sound as pretty. I have a couple announcements. This Saturday, April 26th, we have our spring silent retreat, and that'll be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. here at the temple. And you have until Friday to register. I don't know if they'd turn you away at the door, though, if you just showed up. And you can reach out to Kunga if you want some more information about that. We also have our online meditation group that meets Wednesdays, 6 to 6:45 p.m., and that's on Zoom. And again, you can contact Kunga for more information. We also have a Dharma discussion group that meets Thursdays from 9:30 to 11 a.m. here at the temple, and that is led by Jingsu Ryan Duffield. We also have our Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple board meeting. That's next Sunday, April 27th. And that's right after the service, 11:30 to 1. And all Sangha members and anybody is invited to attend and participate in that as well. We also have our Buddhist-based recovery meetings. They meet Monday at 6:30 p.m. Meditation, and then 7 p.m. at the temple. Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. at the Alano Club, and Fridays at 10:05 a.m. Meditation followed by a 10:30 meeting, and that is at the temple or through Zoom. Also, we are going to be having some potlucks. So we have a potluck for the celebration of Buddha's birthday. One very important teaching of Buddhism is that Buddha was a Taurus, which is very important. As a Taurus, I can let you all know. So it took that stubbornness to sit down at a tree for 49 days until he got his way. So we will be having that on Sunday, May 4th. Feel free to bring a dish if you can, and if not, you can just come eat our food. If you do bring something, we ask that you maybe know any allergies that may be there, maybe some ingredients, so that people who have different allergies or sensitivities, intolerances can make a good decision. We also have our Mother's Day flower donation. So we're getting ready for our Mother's Day service on May 11th. And we also have these little pink slips with a QR code if you'd like to donate specifically for the flower donation on May 11th. We can also receive donations at either end. We have our Dharma boxes, and if you'd like to write a note that you would like it to specifically go towards something, you can do that as well. The other announcement I have is that immediately after our service, depending on how many people would like to participate, we'll either be meeting up here. We'll probably go downstairs, and if we need to move, we'll move. But we're going to be having our first mutual aid group. I would like this to be a community and Sangha-led organization that can help organize a lot of the concerns that you've heard today, dear no joys and concerns, as well as try to build a good network within our Sangha to support each other, using our means and our concerns together, and also hopefully to then reach out to the community around us as well. And we'll be meeting today, and then maybe we'll be meeting every month after that. We'll see. Do we have any other announcements?
Good morning, Sangha. My name is Ellen. The word dana in our practice means generosity. And, I knew I would forget. Okay, but I was kind of really trying to honor what Ashton put in here. I can't find it, so. Okay. I don't do well on a script. I kind of like to get up here and just do my thing. Okay, Dana, generosity comes in many shapes and sizes. Donating your time like you're doing today. Donating your time, maybe becoming a greeter at the door, helping out with potlucks. If you would like information about things that are in that group, we have a group, and it's called the Dharma Disciples. It kind of sounds like a biker gang, doesn't it? But it's very well organized, and there's a whole schedule of, are you available for this particular job? And right at the last minute, if there's an issue like there was yesterday, like whoever was supposed to do the Dawn announcement today was like, oh, I can't be there tomorrow. And then like 18 people go, I'll do it. I beat them all, but so I'm here today. But that is something. Dharma Disciples are very well organized now, so that's something you might want to check out. Also, any opportunity I have to use the word dry goods, I will do that right now. If we need toilet paper, copying paper, anything like that, tea bags and so on, there's the person you need to get in touch with, Nikki. We're supposedly have a list somewhere, maybe, not necessarily, but she would be the one. Also through Dharma Disciples. And of course, last is the financial support that the temple needs to keep the lights on. You can always donate to the Dana boxes, cash or check. There's also a QR code on the boxes that will take you to PayPal. You can set up a one-time donation or a monthly donation, which is very changeable as you move through your life. You can also go to our website, zengr.org. There's a donate button there. If you're watching from home today, hi, Ben. If you're watching from home today, there's a drop-down menu that's also taking you to PayPal. So whatever, whenever, just being here is wonderful. And whatever else you can do to help the temple, we are very grateful.
So I have a couple end of service announcements, just to make sure that as we're sort of getting up, that we're rearranging our cushions, making them look nice, gathering all the booklets together. And then I invite you all downstairs. We'll have some tea and talk about how to build a better community. So with that, why don't we stand and do our closing gathas?